Yo, what's up? What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of the Handsome Artist Dating Stories, affectionately called The Hads. Uh, I am your host, Forrest, and this web series is all about my relationships throughout my life. Uh, just over here talking about my favorite lovers. Yeah, we gonna try to get through all 36 of them. On today's episode, I'll go ahead and talk about one of my all-time favorites. I would put her on my Mount Rushmore of lovers, if not within my top five. My COVID boo, Ashley. And a big reason why she is like high up on my favorite lovers list is just the fact that she is the one that inspired me to pursue art full time. Like she was right there at ground zero when I decided to quit my job, quit my teaching job, or I was actually a freshman advisor at Texas Southern University, where I advised freshman students and I taught a freshman seminar class. But I went ahead and decided to leave that $45,000 and that security alone to pursue my art full time. So yeah. Let's go ahead and start at the beginning. I met Ashley in 2019. I want to say maybe around the almost the beginning of that year. I want to think maybe February, March, and we met each other on Bumble. Out of all the dating apps I've been on, I've had the most success on Bumble. I would say Bumble, Hinge, and then Tinder at the bottom, along with Facebook dating. Yeah. Her and I we met on Bumble. Matched right off the bat. Started talking. Really, things moved quickly with her. Went from the app to exchanging numbers, to talking, and I want to say at the time she might have been 23. Yeah, I told you, man, I love me them 20-somethings. And so 2019, I was finishing up. I was in my last semester of grad school, and I was. Let me do the math. Come on. Let me figure it out. Oh, yeah, I was 37. Yeah. Nice little age difference. But she seemed to be really into me and wanted to meet up fairly quickly. I think the same week that we started talking on the phone is the same week that we linked up. So I was going to an art show, which I love to do, especially when I was first time living in Atlanta. From 2013 to 2019, all I pretty much did was go to art shows and go to concerts, and go to Atlanta was fun, man. The first time I lived in Atlanta was real fun because this back when you still had the Graveyard open. I would go, rest in peace Graveyard, rest in peace Follies. I would hit up parties at the basement. But I went to an art show that night. It might have been the Future Dead Artist Gallery. Either way, it was the gallery that was over at Fort McPherson. And so I was like, hey, I'm hitting up this art show. You could meet me there. And I went and I got there earlier than she did. And she hit me up. She was all like, I'm taking an Uber. I'm on my way. And of course, got there. And I saw her, I was just instantly like smitten. She was so beautiful. Um, Light skin, maybe around 5'2", 5'3", something like that. Big old beautiful titties and shit. Well, really wasn't out at the time because it was still chilly. But yeah, she was wearing all black that night. I remember she had had a black leather coat on, and one of the things that stood out to me that she told me when she first saw me was to relax my shoulders. Just seeing me, and I was really a tense individual, really not knowing how to relax and be comfortable. But yeah, that'll always be something that stands out of my head for her, like relax your shoulders. And so I took her up in the art show. We did a few pass-throughs. It was funny because another young lady, artist that I knew that I was trying to holler at before, who actually heard me, AD, she was in there. And we spoke briefly, but I was like, hey, kind of like my ego was like, look at this fine tenant I got with me. And yeah, so Ashley, she's from Atlanta, and she's a singer. And I'm surprised I have not bumped into her since I moved back to Atlanta, but I kind of want to and don't want to, because I know there's still a lot of lingering feelings there. But yeah, and we did a few pass-throughs at the art show, talked and looked at the art, and I was all like, yeah, I don't want this night to end. And so I was all like, we went back to my car, and we listened to music, talked for a little while, and I was smoking at the time, and I just felt this chemistry between us. And so she said she really didn't smoke, but we did a shotgun, and so of course shotgun, I blew the smoke in her mouth, and then we kissed, and that kiss was so wonderful. It's such a beautiful moment. It seemed like a moment out of ATL, like where Nunu was over there talking about, you special. But yeah, and so I was like, all right, how can we, where can we go from here? And so I was like, all right, we can either go to, damn, I was wilding, man, because I was like, hey, we can go to the Blue Flame, or we can go to Trapeze, the swingers club. And I think at first she might have been down to going to Trapeze, but then she was like, nah, I'm cool on that. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So we ended up going to the Blue Flame, and I guess I was paranoid at the time, this is the whole height of the Me Too movement, and I just ain't want to get caught up. Things were moving a little too quick, and so I hit up my homegirl Zan. She's my grad school classmate, and I was like, hey, this is where I am, this is going on, everything's consensual, yada yada yada. And so I end up going to the gas station, getting some money. I'm thinking I hope she don't steal my car. She didn't, and so we ended up going to the Blue Flame. And but yeah, Ashley, she did not like strippers, man. She did not like strip clubs. I could tell she was so uncomfortable in there. I ended up getting her a lap dance, and she was not comfortable with it. I could tell the dancer could tell she wasn't that comfortable. And so yeah, it was cool to watch, cool experience for me. And then I ended up getting her. I was like, I guess she was all like, I don't know what the feelings would have been like. She kind of maybe felt kind of bad about it, maybe, hey, this dude, he got me a lap dance. So she ended up trying out another dancer who had some great customer service. I wish I would remember her name, because she was all like, I may not be the prettiest in here, but I got the best personality. And I was like, oh man, so she earned that money. I really don't like getting lap dances no more, because they're not the same. They're not like back in the day, 2008, when you actually got a great lap dance. But yeah. And so, of course, from the strip club, I was like, hey, let's keep this thing rolling. And we ended up going back to my place. But one thing that kind of concerned me, too, was the fact, the alcohol, actually, she was throwing it back, man. And I was like, I am not trying to catch a case. And so, but we ended up having sex that night. You know, first date sex. What? Yeah. And then showering together, and then went back, and then we went another round. And yeah, she ended up spending the night, like passing out at my place. Went up, you know, and the sex was fire, man. That was some. Like, kids can make fun sense later, but she was like extra wet and shit. And then she had called the Uber. She got the Uber, and I noticed my bed was wet. And then when I got back, and then like I was like the whole, you know, just let me know when you get home, shit like that. And then when I got back to my bed, I was like, holy fuck! It looked like a murder scene in there, like blood, like big old like blood spot in my bed, like seeped down to my topper. Yeah, all the way down to the mattress, man. I was like, what the fuck? And I was kind of disgusted at first. I was like, what the hell happened? And I don't know if we talked again that day. I don't know, I can't remember. But we ended up talking again that week, and she was like, my bad, you jump started my period. Cause yeah, I didn't think she was on a period because like I ate her out too. Like, yeah, it was, and I ain't taste no blood or nothing. So clearly I jump started a period. I was like, well, go me. So we're talking off and on. I'm still, I'm still being a nigga. Still got my little tenders here and there. But I could tell I was starting to catch feelings, and she could tell she was starting to catch feelings. I was starting to catch feelings, and so she pulled back a little bit, and so things like, and then things. Yeah, she pulled back, and so I was like, all right, I'm not going to waste my time trying to pursue somebody that don't want to be pursued. And then, of course, I graduated from grad school, and then I ended up moving to Houston in 2019. And then early on in 2020, maybe maybe in February 20, before the pandemic popped off, she was hitting me up. Like, just, randomly hit me and like, what's up? And like, let me know, that she had feelings for me. And I'm like, I felt kind of weird. Like, I was like, hell, like, why out of the blue? Like, I'm thinking this is a scam and shit. And she was like, no, I really like you and all this stuff like that. And she was like, she had saw me because I had my graduation party at this Mexican restaurant downtown. And I forgot the name of it. But she had saw me there. My dad was there. My one homegirl was with me. I think my cousin was there too. I think my brother too. And she ended up she told me she was avoiding me because she was embarrassed. Being out there, working there, and she didn't want me to see her. And so yeah, we're still talking and shit. And then man, she ended up going to Orlando, and it was a wild time because she hit me up on FaceTime, and it was her homegirls. And they went down to Orlando for a trip, and they was in that pool butt naked, man. And, oh man, she wanted me to show her my dick, which I did, and then like show the homegirls. It was a wild time. She ended up being on Instagram Live like naked, man. I was like, I think did I screen record, or she might have sent me the video of it or something. But yeah, that's one of my favorites, man. I gotta still look at that. And so there was that, and then right when the pandemic and the lockdown, she was supposed to she was talking about, because that's when stuff was starting to shut down. She was working at a restaurant, and she got laid off, and she had her unemployment, and so she was talking about flying out to see me down in Houston. And I was like, okay. I can't remember if I got her the flight or I don't know. But initially she was worried about coming out, and then eventually she just said, F it. If I'm going to be locked down, I just want to spend that time with you. So I was like, cool. I was working from home. And so she flew out, and yeah, we enjoy the lockdown together. She would be out there for a few weeks at a time, go back home, and then come back. I think she was out there maybe 3 times. Yeah, but it was great because it was very relationshipy. But of course, she didn't want a relationship and stuff like that. But it was dope because we would, I would work and then like hang with her. After I got done working, we would watch movies and take naps, and it was a lot of sex. Oh man, it was great. And but of course, those insecurities were popping up, and I think one time she tried to look through my phone. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, what's up? What's going on?" Nah. If you want to see on my phone, I'm down to show you, but just know you're gonna see something, and that's where that trust factor was in there. Then it was a crazy time because I had my drug issues. I was using Molly. I think this is after so let me get back to that. I decided just one day, we spent my birthday together one time, and she ended up leaving right afterwards because she would just kind of tell me, it was like literally on some Forrest and Jenny stuff. Like she was like, hey, I gotta go back to Atlanta. I hated when she left. I really did. Like she made me feel everything. I think that's why I definitely loved her so much. She made me feel every emotion, like from a love to being annoyed to just being happy. Like she had her guitar. I ended up that's what inspired me to get a guitar and start playing. And so then I was just tired of working, man. And I ended up it was just so much. And I ended up working from home. I just hated it. And I ended up taking a week off. And we went out to Galveston for a few days. And yeah, that was it was a great trip, an interesting trip, because like I had the tent and I couldn't get the tent up, and I was getting so frustrated. But yeah, let's see where we're going this. But yeah, just my drug use. Like I was still using Molly. It was kind of cool because like I would open up to her. Like I would like Molly was dope because it allowed me to tap into emotions and talk about things that were hard for me to talk about. And so like I just revealed like so much about myself to her. We had great talks. It was crazy too. It was so cool because like there were times even the jiu-jitsu gym was open still, and I would go to jiu-jitsu and she would be like, when are you coming back? Like missing me for real. And I would get back and we would cook together. It's funny, we could have had our own reality show, like, hey, cooking, a little cooking show. And but yeah, there was the drugs, and then also I was messing around with acid too, and I ended up giving her a tab of acid, and I really super couldn't enjoy my high because I was worried about her running out. Like she got butt naked one time, and I was kind of like more worried about her. And she ended up being up for a couple of days, and I was like, I'm gonna get this sleep in, so I'll pop my Seroquel and go to sleep. But yeah, and then I think the last time, so then there was the last time that she ended up leaving, and she just never came back. And so I ended up going out to Atlanta for a trip, and we were supposed to be linking up. But she, never mind. I was like, all right. So when I quit my job, I once again dove all the way. I didn't really know what I was doing, or I just like literally quit my job, and I was like, you know what? I had that mask, and that's how like the Forrest character was created. I worked on that, but just once again, watching her sleep all day, and then get up and then create, make music, and that was just so inspiring. I was like, I want to live that life. But yeah, once she left and didn't come back, and then I went out to Atlanta. And we were supposed to link up, but never did. And I was just disappointed in her like that. Because I guess she was working on some music, and just like, damn, you could at least make time, for me. And but I needed that trip because that was the last time I tried Molly because I ended up having a seizure, drug related seizure, and I was like, all right, I gotta leave this stuff alone. And then I ended up going back out to Atlanta. It was this long road trip where I drove from Houston to Kansas City to see my dad and my brother, and I drove to St. Louis. Spent like a couple days in St. Louis, and then drove all the way down to Georgia, Atlanta, because I was supposed to be having my partner was supposed to have this art show. It fell through, and so Ashley and I linked up in Atlanta, and we hung out one night, and I thought I was gonna get some. Didn't happen. I guess she was on her period. But then before I left, we linked up. And yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, we ended up having sex at night in the Airbnb, and I recorded the sound. Yeah, I still beat my meat to that recording because it's just so beautiful. Like just hearing her climax and hearing her just the sounds of us making love, like it was just wonderful. And then I ended up coming back to Houston, going back to Houston, and just like it just got confusing, man. And she would tell me, she would tell me about like these dudes, these sugar daddies or whatever, pretty much. And I was like, I sort of said, I was like, you could tell me about, she would ask me about like these girls on my Instagram, like who was liking this, yada yada. I kind of like that jealous shit, but like she just really wouldn't tell me what was going on in her life. But then she could also tell me about these sugar daddies. I was like, what the, I called her out on it. I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, she ain't like that. And I guess too, she was a Taurus, and I guess since I had lied to her once before, I get the whole thing, looking at my phone, whatever. I was down to be, I don't know, I really don't know. But yeah, I guess she couldn't believe a thing, I said afterwards, and I get it. I've been there before. So yeah, just after the last conversation, things just ended, and I was hurt. I was heartbroken, and I end up. It's kind of inspiring though, because I literally just wrote a bunch of poems about that whole situation. I entitled it "Simp and Stan," and just how, just all these things, like just being a simp, man, just like falling in love quick, and just all those feelings, and so I felt like I was doing all this stuff for her. And I remember when she came to Houston, like I bought a dresser for her, like, yeah, so she could put her stuff in there. And once again, it's all these things, and I poured it out into a poem, and it really sounds a poetry book. And I have created so much content about her. Out of all my muses, out of all my lovers, like Ashley's the one that I have created the most stuff about, and she is definitely on my list of lovers that when this money really starts rolling in, I'm gonna spin the block on her. And even just like to have that love again, and also like to help support her music, because I still occasionally like stalk her Instagram, or I stalk like, all right, why she, because I used to be like, oh yeah, that was the thing, because every time she would leave me and go back to Atlanta, she would go be so inspired, and she would finally so I was like, you're so dope, you're a dope singer songwriter, like why don't you have anything on streaming services? And so like I think she's got one song up, or she had two or whatever. But yeah, I would definitely pour into her art. So hey, we'll see. It'd be fun if we saw each other again before I left. It'll be interesting to date her as an artist, But hey, what can I say? I still love her, still got feelings for her, still would love to have her in my life. But yeah. Is there anything else I need to cover with that? Yo, my COVID boo. I love you, baby. My COVID boo, my COVID boo. I've had the song before, COVID boo, oh COVID boo, oh how I really miss you. Why'd you have to do the things you do? Why'd you have to blow the chance with me? Oh COVID boo, oh COVID boo, I really, really, really miss you. Alright, that's been another wonderful episode of the Handsome Artist Dating Stories. Peace.